Garden watering looks harmless until you run the numbers. One garden hose pipe, running for 1 hour, pours out roughly 1,000 liters. That is more than many households get through in a whole day. And in that same hour, a single drip irrigation emitter uses about 2 liters. I am Mikkel. This is the numbers episode. 3 numbers, 1 hour, and a hose pipe you may never trust again. 2 episodes ago, I made you a promise. A numbers episode was coming, and you would never look at your hose the same way again. This is that episode. First, a confession from the internet. Someone asked a big gardening forum how everyone actually waters their garden. The top answer: rain when it rains, hose when it doesn't. I read you that line in episode 1 in passing. Today it earns the big screen, because today we take it apart. No plan, no clock, no idea how many liters either way, and I understand it completely. Here is the strange part though. At my depot, every bus that leaves the yard gets its fuel logged, liters in, miles out, written down every shift because liters are money. Then the same drivers go home, screw a hose pipe onto the tap, and wave it about like water fell out of fashion. The garden tap is the one pipe in the house that nobody keeps a log for, so today we log it, 3 numbers. What a hose hour really pours. What a dripper sips in the same hour, and what hand watering quietly costs you every week. Fair warning, the first number is a monster. So, number 1. A standard garden hose pipe on an ordinary British tap pours out roughly 1,000 liters in an hour. Let me try to make that number feel like something. 1,000 liters of water weighs a full metric ton. That is a small car made of water out of the end of your hose every hour. It is more than many households get through in a whole day. Cooking, kettles, showers, laundry, flushes, the lot. 1 hour of casual garden watering can outdrink your entire house, or slice it smaller. That is roughly 16 liters every single minute. My kettle at home holds about 2 liters. Remember the kettle, it comes back later. Now, nobody stands there for a full hour, you might say, but watch the old boys at my allotment on a dry July evening. Thumb over the end of the pipe, 20 minutes on the spuds, 20 on the beans, a chat in the middle, another go for luck. The hour adds up fast, and the tap never once says how much has gone. And remember what Series 1 taught us about fast water. Soil drinks at its own pace, pour faster than it can swallow, and the extra sheets off the surface into paths and drains. The top looks gloriously soaked. 10 centimeters down, where the roots actually queue, it can still be dust. 1,000 liters is not 1,000 liters of feeding, not even close. Now number 2, and the whole scale flips. A drip emitter is that little nozzle from last episode, parked at the base of one plant. The standard ones are rated as low as 2 liters per hour. Most sit somewhere between 2 and 4. 2 liters in a full hour. One dripper working flat out for 60 minutes just about fills my kettle. So how can that possibly be enough? Because of everything the dripper does not do. It does not fling water through hot afternoon air, so evaporation barely gets a cut. It does not spray paths, fences, or weeds. Every drop lands on the same few centimeters of soil, directly over the roots of the plant that paid for it, and it is slow on purpose. 2 liters an hour is slower than soil drinks, so nothing runs off, even on heavy clay. The water creeps downwards and sideways into a deep, moist bulb around the root zone, wet at depth where the plant actually lives. Deep drinks build deep roots. That was episode 3 of series 1, and the dripper simply refuses to let you break that rule. The trade guides put drip systems at up to 90% water efficiency, meaning nearly every liter released ends up somewhere a root can use it. A hose pipe waters a postcode. A dripper waters an address. Same tap, same hour. Completely different job. Time for the scoreboard. Read these 3 slowly, because this is the whole episode in 3 lines. 1 garden hose pipe, 1 hour, roughly 1,000 liters. 1 drip emitter, the same hour. about 2 liters. Divide one by the other and you get the ratio, up to 500 to 1. 500 to 1. Now, before anyone writes in, if your emitters run at 4 liters an hour, the thirsty end of standard, the ratio drops to 250 to 1. Congratulations, it is still a landslide. Here is another way to hold it. For a single dripper to release what 1 hose hour pours, it would need to run day and night for nearly 3 weeks. And if you are on a water meter, remember the meter cannot tell the difference. A liter through the hose and a liter through a dripper cost exactly the same. Only one of them reliably ends up inside a plant, so the water is measured and the verdict is a landslide. But there is one resource we have not counted yet: your evenings. Number 3 is not about water at all. It is about you. Hand watering a medium-sized garden can swallow more than 7 hours a week. 7 hours. That is a full working day every week spent holding a pipe or lugging a can. I checked that number against my own life and it held up embarrassingly well. 2 summers ago, before I built the system, my July went like this. Out the door at 5 for the early shift, home around 3, then an hour and a bit, most evenings, walking water around the garden and the allotment. Call it 7 hours a week and my back never once thanked me for it. Now stretch that across a season. Call the British watering season 20 weeks, from the first dry spell in May to the last thirsty pots of September. 20 weeks at 7 hours is 140 hours. Nearly 6 full days and nights of your one precious summer gone through the end of a hose. And here is the sting in the tail. All those hours are rush hour work. The watering has to happen early morning or evening, exactly the hours you want for dinner, for the kids, for sitting down. A dripper has no such diary problems. Slow, yes, but it never asks for your evening back. Let us deal with the objection, because I know it is coming. A hose pipe feels like proper watering. You can see the water flying. The dripper feels like a toy, a dribble. Surely real gardens need the big pipe. Flip it round. Ask where a hose hour actually goes. Some of it flies through warm air and evaporates before it lands. You paid for a cloud. Some hits the surface faster than soil can drink, sheets sideways, and drains off the edge of the bed. Some lands on paths, fences, and the gaps between plants, watering nothing but weeds. Some ends up sitting on leaves, which does nothing for the roots, and, as we will see in a later series, does a favor for every fungus in the postcode. What is left, the fraction the plant keeps, tends to sit in the top few centimeters. Shallow sips, breeding shallow roots. That is where the 1,000 liters goes. The dribble, meanwhile, delivers nearly everything to the root zone, slowly enough to soak deep, which is why switching a border from hosepipe to automated drip can cut the waste by up to 70%, not use 70% less water on the plant. Cut the waste, the plant loses nothing, the drain does. Wet on top is theater, wet at depth is fed, the dribble wins. One catch, and it is the honest one. The dripper only wins if it actually runs. 2 liters an hour works because it happens at dawn, on schedule, every day, whether you are home or not. Miss 3 mornings and the maths dies. I drive a rota. At dawn I am 3 miles away in an empty bus. So on my tap sits the Johgee 4-zone timer. The hub sits indoors and reaches the tap by radio through the brick wall, and each zone runs its own schedule while I work. And honestly, if your whole estate is a window box and 3 pots, save your money. A watering can does that job in 5 minutes flat. So what does that mean for your garden? It means one small job this week, and it costs nothing. Keep a watering log, like the depot keeps for the buses. Every time the hosepipe comes out, note the minutes. Every canful you carry, tally it. Nothing fancy, the back of an envelope on the fridge will do. 1 honest week, because here is what usually happens. The minutes are always more than you would have guessed, the same way the 1,000 liters was more than you guessed at the start. You cannot fix a number you have never seen. And in episode 9 of this series, we will take your log and do the full money maths on it. Flow rate times runtime, liters into pounds. Bring your envelope. One more thing before the route ends. Do not take my word about the dripper either. If you fitted one after last episode, push a finger 10 centimeters into the soil beside it after a morning run. Cool and damp at depth from two polite leaders. The scoreboard confirmed in mud.